Welcome back. We're diving into the Divine Masculine reading. For those of you that don't know, I'm your host, Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. We cover the astrology, the intuitive realm of things, and your twin flame path. Now, we do have these out weekly. I'll go through and take a look at the editions, and if you do need a private booking, you can go to the website. Now, this is looking interesting, and to me, it's definitely linking to our current transits. And we do see these individuals this week really in the mix, having some huge revelations. Now, I do believe it's almost like, oh my gosh, I've got to spring into action. That could be because we do have Jupiter moving station. And from the grounding energy, we are in the goddess of wisdom energy. And, you know, this is really where inside themselves, where they feel uncomfortable, they're having some clarity, it's almost like, where have I gone wrong? And I think this Mercury retrograde is going to reveal a lot to us all. We do have these individuals this week really tuning into the divine feminine, tuning into where they feel at home, where there has been cross wires, and their emotions are really spiking. They're really in their mind at the moment. So if they are inside themselves within that emotion, this is something that is spiking for them. And we're looking to the most recent past, and it's almost this revelation of, has it been actually other things that have been obstructing me? Or has it been that I haven't had the confidence to believe in myself? This is where the person is really having these revelations. Look, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes we do have tribal situations going on, and we have in the most recent past. Let's take a look at that. Oops, wrong way. Let me see if I can find the card. I will put it here. So in the most recent past, off to the left here, we have the elephant on the heart chakra, we have the yellow, and we have the crown energy, all four. And I think there's a signifier here to do with the family situation. So could it be mother, father, children, physical home environment, karmic? Yes. Okay. It is moving to the past position, but it's also the person standing in the mix of it and going, what part of this did I have? Do I need to, is my hand being forced here? Do I need to address this? Do I need to have the confidence and courage, or am I physically liberating myself out of this because I'm realizing I placed myself in these circumstances? And, you know, I don't know why I get the notion of pink and this used to be a fun house. And I was really thinking about Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. And although it's shifted and it's now in Aries, if you want to just go on the metaphysical realm, it has felt over the last 2 years like we were Alice in Wonderland with the Mad Hatter at some funky tea party. And we're like, what is this? I feel as though the communication factor has directly been impacted as well. And divine feminine, it's also confused divine feminine. They're like, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. The text messages, how it's directly impacted each. Are we friends? Are we more? It's been these deep questions. And I think that is also how the divine masculine has been feeling in the context of it. And they're having these revelations at the moment, like, okay, like, have I been biding my time? Have I actually been dealing with some 3D things? Have I been actually dealing with the one path that I truly do need to directly deal with? And this could be within the context and the connection of the twin flame path. Now, you know, this yellow energy, it is all to do with that. It's all to do with the factor that, you know, they're really thinking about these things where they were involved in it. It's caused a lot of, you know, it's 5 as well. So the 5s are all about change. And I think it was a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, heck, you know, we're moving into the year of the fire horse. We're in that 1/10 energy. And whenever you see 5s, you know, going to the actual 9 and then into the 1 10. That's a new beginning. So we're kind of juggling in the mix of both at the minute, and it can feel very destabilizing. We're like, oh gosh, this thing's popping off, that thing's going on, planting seeds over here. So it's like a parent getting ready for a birthday party and everything's everywhere. That's about the best way I can describe it. It's just messy, it's chaotic, it's erratic, and then everything comes together beautifully, and you're like, wow, nothing ever happened. And we know something's going on, we know something's changing, and it feels very unsettling. It's an unsettling time. We get to the bottom row, and this person is not happy. This person, no matter what they do, sleepless nights, tossing and turning, an emptiness within the resonance of connections they've lived in. It's the writing is on the wall, and this honesty, this shadow work we're moving through with these retrogrades is helping us directly peel off the mask, and divine masculine is going through that process as we speak. It's like, okay, I honestly, I do not think this person is intentionally doing this. When we don't know anything to do with transits, or, it's like nobody told us it was going to rain, and the skies were clear. We have this very common in Melbourne. We call it the Melbourne weather, and I haven't been to Melbourne for years. But, you'd go out, you'd always have to take a coat, or England, you'd take a coat and you'd take an umbrella, because it could turn. Very Uranian energy, it could turn. This is kind of the signifier. It's like, it's not necessarily we go into things, we are going into things ignorantly. Is because when the energy, the frequency, the obstacles, have come up, sometimes we think something is one way when it's really the other. And we have collectively had that with both Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. So it has been one of those very confusing times. And this miscommunication, I feel, it's almost like they feel as though what they are guided to do right now is get to the bottom of any cross wires. And this is between the both of you. This is a time they feel they need to be quite transparent with you. And, look how both parties are looking at different numbers. And it's funny because the 9 energy is spirituality, and that's where currently 9 energy also is Jupiter, very much governed by the masculine polarity. And at the moment, this Virgo eclipse, it's Mercury, but it is also the energy of the 6th house. It's like, gosh, we're doing, very common to what divine feminine always says. There's work to do on both sides. One has had a lot of extremes. One has had a lot of expectations and very foggy and disillusioned by it. The 9th house can be if the individual is also in a marriage and they're thinking about getting divorced, or they're looking at some physical proximity to get to you. This can be, moving countries, etc. It's also to do with value systems and belief systems and wisdom, really. A lot on their plate, I would say. The 6th house can be to do with health. It can be to do with stress, ascension for the divine feminine. Look, there's a lot of miscommunication, but it's this person that is realizing that they have to actually gain the perspective of the divine feminine. They have to actually meet that person in a very spiritual, logical way. That their ascension process also has not been fun. Divine feminines, you guys went through this a couple of years back, and now they're in the mix of it. We're going to go into clarifying. I want to dig a bit deeper, and I am going to pull a romance card for the overarching energy this week of how it's playing out. Look, I'd say be very careful of the communication. There is an opportunity here to get to the root cause of things. Divine feminine in their reactions and actions. This person's really mulling over this. This is like back to yesteryears. It's the skeletons in the closet coming out, and especially relating and pertaining to your crowning energy, divine masculine. The skeletons in the closet are coming out, and it's a real headache. And it's going to serve a purpose. It's not for no reason. Okay. What do we need to know about the most recent past for the divine masculine? They do not regret meeting you, and how do you put it? Like, so what I think what their guides are referencing is some of the things were out of their control, but they also, how do I put it? They have no regrets meeting you. Let's put it that way. Okay, what is the thing that they're having revelations about, please? Oh, wow. Okay. They're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the things that I don't love? Why am I showing up and getting caught up in everybody else's net when I could be actually casting mine out? I could be moving towards, yeah, this is all to do with the old situation. They're like, this does not resonate with me. Wow. They're showing up. They're showing up. They're having this, it's giving them a lot of closure. And I would love to hear from those of you who are in communication with your twin if they've been really discussing this, because it feels as though they're having an for a bit it was for closure. For a bit it was to actually, hope something would transform and change, but something is directly being left behind here. And they just feel they've been fighting for something that just has no intention of changing. So they've really lost faith in it. It took them back to the drawing board. But they're wanting, it's also taking them away from their zen, their peace, their, inner kind of calm. And it's been taking them away from, it makes them feel even more vulnerable because they really don't feel this is taking them to their path. They don't like the feeling of being away. They don't like the feeling of being detached in their own body. And, they don't really like, they get it. They're like, no, they're really calling themselves out here, Divine Feminine. They're like, I have been, they're mad at the things that they didn't do. Good old Mercury retrograde. They're mad at the things they didn't do. And that's got to come to an end. They're like, you know what? That's got to come to an end. I'm done with this separation. I'm done with being separated from myself and not going towards my goals, not moving towards my vision and the things I want to achieve. They're like, I'm not waiting till mid-year. They were thinking about this last year. They're like, this grief, I'm not going through this again. Something maybe did go a bit better around Christmas, New Year's. Some decision was made, but again, it felt like it just went backwards again. I just see this person taking a deep breath and exhaling. Two's company, three's a crowd. A lot of who they used to be, it's just not who they are. Okay, there's some transparency that's needing to come out. They're needing to talk about a situation to do with house or home, a location, where they're going to be moving forward, where they are now. What's this about? They have something to ask you. There's conversations about a lot of things here, Divine Feminine. It's like they want to have a discussion about they know that you're going to want to know things, okay? They get that. The main goal and intention for communicating, I'll be honest with you, is because they are coming to you with, this could be an intention for an apology, wisdom about what isn't working, and a plan of action of how to get to the bottom of this so you can move forward. The bottom of it does feel it's not going to be a repeat of the way it was before, okay? It feels as though the whole intention and intuition to do with the circumstance is, I know there's a lot we need to unpack and I know there's a lot we need to talk about. But there's also something far more serious that they are wishing to come to a compromise with and come to an understanding with. So they want to cool the heat off it. the bad heat, that is, obviously, so that both of you together can make a plan of action, the steps, the actions, the ideas, the growth, the 9. So it does appear to be between you. If you get the common goal here, which is funny because the 6 is smack bang in the middle, it's the actions and steps and tedious tasks to get you to where you both need to be. Okay. And divine feminine, you may need to understand this person does not expect you to do everything. They're like, lower your guard, hear me out. I don't need you to do everything. We need to communicate effectively so we can see each other's side so that we realize we can get into this 2 energy. Now, yes, we are creating the resources for your path, and we do have these editions out weekly. Go and have a look at the other editions we have out today. And if you do need a booking, you can come through and visit our website. We also have our Sage in a Circle network you can sign up to with our landing page. Otherwise, I will see you next week. I'd love to hear how this played out for you and what you know behind the scenes.